Join Marty Johnson, the holistic health practitioner and founder of Total Health Nutrition Center in Menominee Falls, Wisconsin, as he delivers these podcasts to enlighten you and give you hope that there are health solutions to conditions that seem difficult to resolve, or even better answers than a medical approach of prescribing a chemical drug, which most times is nothing more than a Band-Aid fix, rather than getting to the root cause of your problem. The mission of the Total Health podcast is to provide the education and support that will lead to transforming people's healths so they can live a much more efficient, productive, and happier life the way God intended it to be. Join him now for his latest podcast.
One of the big reasons with thyroid medication is that 80% of thyroid conditions are actually autoimmune thyroiditis. They call that Hashimoto's. So the immune system is actually attacking the thyroid. Primarily this happens because there might be a toxicity or the thyroid or a chronic stress or something is creating the immune system to try to clean up toxicities or in the thyroid. And after a while, the immune system, if it can't clean that up, it'll actually start to dysregulate and go after healthy tissues. So now you got the immune system working against your thyroid. So many times this isn't diagnosed, and primarily because they're going to put you on the same medication anyway, which is levothyroxine or Synthroid. Problem is that these medications do nothing to correct an autoimmune disease like Hashimoto's. You have to go much deeper and work on multiple levels of things to really deal with that. But 80% of people with thyroid issues that were actually diagnosed are autoimmune.
Wow, 80% are autoimmune. What is autoimmune, and why is this happening to everybody all of a sudden?
Well, yeah, that's a good question. Autoimmune, you're hearing more and more autoimmune diseases, anything from MS to rheumatoid arthritis to lupus to Crohn's to colitis. You notice that a lot of these diseases have an itis on the end of them, which means that they're an inflammatory disease. When the immune goes after when the immune system starts to affect an organ in a negative way, it's going to create inflammation. Just like when the immune system is helping you to heal a wound, it gets red around that area because the actual process of healing and the immune system doing its job is an inflammatory process. The problem is that what we're seeing more and more is kind of twofold with this autoimmune situation. It's the exposure of toxins that can enter in, either through your food or, into the bloodstream, even from things that get on your skin, or the things that you might breathe in. So when these toxins get into the body, they may, depending on where they end up. So in other words, if toxins end up in the joints, then the immune system is going to go after that, trying to, it's a foreign substance. It's going to try to clean it up. And if it can't clean that toxin up, it's going to start to dysregulate and go after the joint material itself. And now we call it rheumatoid arthritis. So it's creating inflammation. The immune system's actually trying to help you, but it can't keep up with the influx of toxicity that it's trying to clean out. If toxins are ingested or food is ingested, and a person has developed a condition called leaky gut, which basically means that things that normally, molecules of food and even toxins that might be in the food or that you somehow get into your digestive systems. The digestive tract or the intestinal wall should not allow those molecules into the bloodstream very easily. The intestinal lining is kind of like a fish net where it sieves out, just the nutrition or the nutrients from the food, and then the rest of the molecules are passed on through the digestive system and then eventually eliminated. But if that fish net, so to speak, gets inflamed or opens up and allows molecules through into the bloodstream that shouldn't be there, then the immune system goes after it, with a vengeance, trying to clean it up because it's a foreign substance. And that will create a lot of inflammation, systemic inflammation in general in the body, and also can start to trigger reactions to different foods that you might not even have had sensitivities to before. Actually will cause a histamine reaction from the immune system trying to clean it up. But if some of these molecules, like I said, they maybe if wheat molecules or gluten molecules that shouldn't be completely entering through into the bloodstream end up, maybe attaching onto the thyroid, then the immune system's going to try to clean that up, and eventually it could end up creating Hashimoto's, thyroiditis. If you have toxins like heavy metals that attach onto the nerve, the coating around the nerves, it's called myelin, then the immune system's going to try to clean that up, and if it can't, it's going to start to go after that myelin, and then now you call it MS or multiple sclerosis. So this is the issue with autoimmune disease, and that's basically what an autoimmune disease is and what's happening in the body.
So is there a relationship between the thyroid, autoimmune, and other autoimmune diagnosis then?
Yeah, as I had said, a lot of these autoimmune conditions can really be related to each other. It just depends on where these toxicities end up. A lot of times these things can be, I call them, it's almost like in stealth mode where things are dysregulating and getting out of balance over many years. And, autoimmune, they're called ANA, autoimmune antibodies, may not actually even show up in the blood, until it's more advanced. So you can be having inflammatory conditions going on, even things like lupus, that once they show up as immune markers, or autoimmune antibodies, you might have had, things going on for a long time and actually been symptomatic, but just not diagnosed yet. So a lot of these autoimmune conditions can be related to each other. Matter of fact, even in the medical realm, a lot of times it's known that people with MS have gut issues or leaky gut issues, and that can also lead to what we call leaky brain, because the gut lining or the intestinal lining, the mucous membrane lining, is very similar or almost identical to what's called the blood-brain barrier, which is blood vessels in the brain that protect the brain from certain toxins by not allowing toxins to pass through this barrier. But if the gut barrier is being compromised, then we know that the brain barrier is also compromised because it's really the same tissue. And this is becoming a big, big issue, which we'll definitely need to talk about on another podcast in relationship to dementia and Alzheimer's, as well as autistic type of symptoms. In fact, doctors are saying that if things don't turn around with the toxicities and how it's affecting the gut, within the next 10 years, 1 in 4 kids will be somewhere on the autism spectrum.
Wow. Well, I really look forward to hearing more about that, because that's going to really help a lot of people in the future. Marty, thank you so much for all the information on thyroid health and why some of these people are not getting the answers from their doctors and going that route. So I really do look forward to talking more with you. Do you have any other information or any other resources that you can think of that maybe for people to go ahead and connect with you more?
Yeah, I mean, we do work with people with the issues that we've been talking about. Matter of fact, we even have some tools that are done right in office where we can do a urine test that will show us beyond a shadow of a doubt if that cell membrane, like I talked about, is inflamed. And it's 50 times more accurate than a blood test to tell us if that's actually going on. Because then if that is, then we can start to engineer a program that might be able to reverse that and allow the cells to respond properly to the hormones. And so we work with people very often in our clinic on those lines. Usually before we even consider taking the client on, we would like to offer a free or a no-charge phone consult so that we can really get an understanding of how a person or what a person is dealing with, what they've tried already, and to make sure that it's really a good fit for what we do, because we only want to really take people in that we know we can help. And so that's one way that we can work with people.
Great. So I will make sure that everybody here that's listening will get that information to contact you to your clinic and get something started with you, because I'm sure a lot of people can be helped and have hope through your services at Total Health. Thanks for joining us today on the Total Health Podcast. If you'd like more information about how Total Health can transform your health, check them out. They would love to set up a free consultation with you over the phone. Call them at 262-251-2929 to make that appointment. Otherwise, you can check them out on the web at www.totalhealthinc.com.